What is going on, Clippers fans? Welcome to Season 3, Episode 67 of Clips and Dip. I am Chuck Mockler, joined by Adam Oslin and William Updike. We are in the off-season for the Clippers. We're coming at you once a week. Thank you for hanging out. If you ever like to watch us, especially now that we have dip reviews and dip recipes on deck, you can find us at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. There's a lot of good stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about some of the potential players the Clippers could sign, some rumors that have been floating around that I personally don't think make any damn sense. And then, of course, because this is Clips and Dip, we have some dip talk because it's the off season. Before we get into all of that, Adam, Will, how you fellas doing? No more Clippers basketball. We are fully in this off season. How's it going? Adam?
Feels good.
Will, we'll start with you.
Honestly, it feels good. It's bittersweet. We were talking before we got on here, though. I mean, with all these injuries in the playoffs, it hasn't really been a picnic for anybody. So yeah, I don't know. Glad to be back though. Glad to see y'all. Glad to talk clips. Glad to talk dips. It's a beautiful day.
All right, Adam, and you?
Yeah, sadly, it's like the basketball gods are like, well, we don't have the Clippers to get injured anymore, so we got to take advantage of all these other teams that are still. It's awful. It's awful. The Jason Tatum injury, watching that live, he's one of my favorite players too, and he just turned 27. Like, it's unbelievable. I feel terrible for them. We've been through so much of this with the Clippers. It's just survival of the fittest once again this year in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's been such a like you were saying before, it's just like once a year. There's at least one a year now, which is a devastating injury to a star, which is bad. And I'm sure the discourse this summer is going to be around how can they reduce these injuries, but
it's very clear. It's what are you talking about? It's very clear. It's very easy. It's so stupid.
More games.
Yeah. Like either less games, or if you're not going to have less games, like you got to elongate the season. Like, in the summer you just don't have that much stuff. I think we were talking about this. We were texting about this. I think the rest periods shrinking as the playoffs go on is so stupid. Like, there's no reason to truncate it. Like, there's truly no point. Why can you not have 2 days in between? Like, have the playoffs go later. Have the playoffs go through July. Like, who cares?
I think they don't want to push back the draft, free agency, I guess.
Who cares about the draft? That's so stupid compared to the playoffs. Who cares?
Compared to player safety, compared to their health. They've done it before due to COVID. They figured things out before. I know they're never going to take away games because there's too much money to be made, but just lengthen the season, space the games out.
Yeah, space them out, and it's a tough balance too because players don't want to lose their off season. So they're like, well, if the season's longer, if you space it out, we have less. I don't know. It's a conundrum, but we hope it stops. Will it? Probably not.
No.
But we're along for the ride. Hey, at least we're fans of a team that wins more than they lose over the past 10 years. So that's cool. See, if you're not watching, you're missing Adam's incredibly enthusiastic thumbs up. Okay.
It's sincere.
Guys, it's sincere. So there's been some random rumors floating around about Giannis, about Austin Reaves. There was Jonathan Kuminga news today that they're going to try and find a sign and trade. But for the people who don't fully maybe know the cap situation, the Clippers, they have 13 guys signed. You have James Harden with the player option, Nico with the player option. Everything we've seen seems to say that Nico's going to opt in, whereas Harden's probably going to opt out. And we're all pretty comfortable with if he opts out 2 years for like $40 million a year for James Harden.
Yeah.
Lines up with Kawhi. Not that crazy. But the Clippers are, and this is from Justin Rousseau, $21 million over the salary cap, but $12 million under the luxury tax. Because of this, we have access to the $14 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception. So that gives them a little flexibility there. Like $10 million away from the first apron. I don't think they're going to go over the first apron because they've wanted this flexibility, right? Like, this isn't the summer to spend for the
Well,
Clippers.
Lawrence Frank at the exit interview presser said, we'll have the non-taxpayer mid-level exception to use. And then they asked him later about, so would you guys go over the cap? And it sounded to me like for the right situation, of course they would. But the assumption is they're not that right situation or that perfect superstar that becomes available where you're like, yes, we're definitely going over the cap for this guy is probably not going to happen. So therefore, they already know what they're working with.
Yeah, there shouldn't be very many surprises this offseason. I don't think. Do we want to start? So, do we want to start with Kuminga, Giannis, or Reaves? We're going to get into a realistic list of guys that the Clippers could sign, but there's been some ideas floating around that I've seen that I don't think make any sense.
I
Let's
didn't
start
like
with
that
Giannis
Will
because
tweet either.
it's the Photoshop I've seen the most.
The Giannis Photoshop is crazy. Why won't this happen? Adam, why do you like? It's impossible.
Clippers
right?
can't have nice things. No, it's judging, especially after what we saw Monday night. Was that when the draft lottery took place? I believe so. Yes.
Yes.
After seeing the Dallas Mavericks and the San Antonio Spurs get top 2 picks, well, I don't think Dallas is going to trade because they're going to end up with Cooper Flag and have a nice long window timeline to work with and sell the fans on. And yes, they got bailed out, and Nico Harrison completely got bailed out.
They could still not take Cooper Flag, which would be the funniest result of all of this.
Yeah, but San Antonio, if they want Giannis, they get Giannis.
Yeah.
If OKC wants Giannis, they get Giannis. If Houston wants Giannis, they get Giannis. And why would all these teams not want Giannis that can get Giannis is the question. Before the Clippers would have any chance of putting together a deal with 1 first-round pick and who? They're going to have to give up a Ivica Zubac, most likely, in a trade like that. If you're talking about dealing for Giannis, they're going to lose Zoo. Like that's the piece that Milwaukee would want most. So it's nonsensical. It's not going to happen. The only way that they would even have a chance, and I would say it's still slight, less than 1%, is if Giannis said, I only want to go to the Clippers. Now, for that to happen would be unlikely. But even if he said that, he's under contract for 2 more years. A team could go, cool, we're calling your bluff. We'll still give up assets for you because we know you're under contract for 2 more years. There's nothing you can do about it. So it's not a rental or a 1-year thing where he has that much control over it.
Yeah, it's just not. Will, are you more impressed with the Photoshop quality or the possibilities of people's minds to think that this is possible?
I mean, it's both a little delusional, but I'll huge shout out to the people, taking the time to do the jersey swaps, the jersey photoshoppers. Don't use AI. I've been seeing some basketball AI stuff on the timeline. You're a loser if you're doing that. But the people taking the time to Photoshop jerseys, real ones, regardless of how stupid the idea is.
And there's no assets, right? If you go to a trade machine or whatever, which people do, I can't remember what the classic line. There was some Twitter user who would send trades and they would say, per the rules, this works.
Yeah.
As if that is that is the only thing you have to work in is, does the trade work?
Yeah, I love people who would just, I have more respect for the jersey photoshoppers than the trade machine screenshotters, though. Like a lot more.
So
why set yourself up to be disappointed with this? Like,
right.
let's just end it right now. It's over. They're not getting Giannis.
Yeah. Zoo, Norman, Derek Jones Jr. works. Who says no? Right?
And 1 pick?
Who says no? No, it'd be a nightmare. It's not going to happen. Photoshop something else. It just won't happen. Austin Reaves is another one that has no shot of happening. I do not think. The issue, I also want to say, there's a new thing now because betting is so popular that they'll be like, oh, the Clippers are a favorite to land Austin Reaves. That's only because people have decided to bet on the Clippers to land Austin Reaves. It's not an actual sort. It's just like people are betting it, which does not
Because
mean
people know.
Yeah, which doesn't really mean anything. What would the Clippers give up for Austin Reaves that would be good for
They'd
the
want
Lakers?
Ivica Zubac. Like what else? Like what the fuck are we talking about here?
He makes $13 million a year, which is not a lot. He's locked up for 25, 26, and then has a player option for 26, 27. I cannot see the Lakers. Wasn't their last trade with us the Zoo trade?
Yeah.
I don't think they're coming back to that well to get Zoo back. Like, that is a good call. Well, they would probably want Zoo because who else?
Well, what else do we have to offer them?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're like, okay, we want Norm and
why would you want
some
Norm over Austin
seconds.
Reaves?
Because they don't
He
want
makes
to
more.
pay
Like
him.
he makes
but
more money. He's older. Like I don't see it. He's way worse defensively.
I mean, yeah. The thing is,
Like, what's the upgrade? What's the point?
I think there's a deal out there for Austin Reaves. I just don't know if the Clippers are the team that has what the Lakers want. If they had a big man that was negotiable, that's not Ivica Zubac, then yes, they'd be a suitor. So it's unlikely in that respect, just because they don't have the right parts that the Lakers are looking for.
Yeah, there is a trade out there for them. I'm pretty sure, but I don't think it's with.
Oh, there's a market for Austin Reaves, of course. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying at all. It's just I don't see the move for the Clippers.
They also seem to want, they got to prioritize like size and kind of athleticism. Clippers don't have that for this trade. That's what kind of did us in during the playoffs.
DJ for Reaves straight up.
Sure, I would. Hey.
I mean, okay.
Why not?
DJ is the type of guy that they would like, but how do you build around that with enough? That's not crazy because DJ is on a team-friendly contract. And if the deal is they don't want to pay Austin Reaves because he's going to opt out and be a free agent after this year, maybe there's something to work with there, but it still seems unlikely.
What's his contract? What's his next contract projected at? What do we have
over $100 million probably?
Probably.
I mean, it'll be tougher because of having both LeBron and Luke on the team, but like he's gonna make an all-star team.
He could in the right situation, that's for sure. He could make $150 million the next deal.
Yeah.
He took less the first deal. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of Austin Reaves as a player. I know Clippers fans won't like hearing praise for Lakers, but
he's very good.
He's way
series. Who cares?
He's way better than I anticipated him being.
But Derrick Jones Jr., the Clippers aren't trading a first round pick for anybody. I think we've gone through this long enough where everyone keeps clamoring for youth and all that. It's really hard to do that when you don't have first round picks is one of the issues. So it's like, I don't think the front office is eager to deal any of those as for anybody this summer, like for who's available.
Definitely not to the Lakers.
Right.
I think the only way deals happen with a rival like that is if somebody is getting swindled, which is what happened with Ivica Zubac. That was an absolute fleece job where Lawrence Frank was probably like, okay, thanks, Magic. I did not expect this phone call right before the trade deadline.
They were at dinner. Isn't the story that they were all at dinner and they
didn't they laugh?
Yeah, I think Jerry West said they were all at dinner and they're like, okay.
I remember when the Kion came up on the screen, I was like, what? No, that didn't happen.
It made no sense.
It came in really late.
Shout out to the Lakers for that. But yeah, and seeing the reaction of giving the Lakers a first round pick would be, I would be sharing in the rage or whatever the feelings would be. It would be, Clippers fans would implode. Rightfully so, I think.
I like Austin a lot, but Yeah, unless you're dealing the first with DJ and something, I don't think it's happening.
And it's not lining up with the Clippers' plan, right? It's all after next season. The most, I don't know if interesting is the right word. Jonathan Kuminga. Reportedly, the Warriors are looking at sign and trade situations for him. I would say I am incredibly confused at what Kuminga's value is. Seems Warriors fans.
It's got. I mean, they got to be selling low on him. He's not even he's barely in the playoff rotation.
Right. I saw some Warriors fans describe him as a guy who can be great when your star is out. Like, basically like for a bad team. Like if he was on like the Hornets and LaMelo was out, Kuminga would be a good guy. You know what I mean? Like, so not like a very good winning NBA basketball player, right? Like his tenure at the Warriors has been super weird. He doesn't seem very good. I don't think he has athleticism, but
I'm a fan. I don't think it's hard to give an appraisal on him because of his Warriors tenure.
totally,
But
that's fair.
I do think I have a tweet out there from a couple years ago saying he's going to end up being a star. I think he has. Yeah, somebody could pull the receipt on that. He's still 23, I think. Like, I think the reason he hasn't gotten much time is because style of play and lack of motor.
He's 22. Damn. Sorry, I just checked that out.
Yeah, like for the right price, I would do it. Honestly, this is the guy that they held out giving up for a Paul George trade last summer. They wouldn't entertain that, and they didn't give him the extension then for 200 million or whatever it is. That's the problem. Like, how much is the signing trade? I guess I should wait to say I would do it because I need to know what the number is, but I'm interested in Jonathan Kuminga, even with his up and down kind of who is he as a player type play.
Yeah, not adding him in the Paul George, that was such a weird saga. I don't think we were ever trading Paul George to the Warriors, but yeah, I guess it does. Like, because what is he?
I think they would have for Kuminga, honestly.
Well, because he's young, he brings what the Clippers need, which is that youth and athleticism. Maybe I'm turning on this idea. Maybe I'm flip flopping.
But you think he could be at like 40 a year?
I don't know what the max is for him as a restricted free agent.
I don't love that. I'm super on board, but I don't love that.
It's definitely a risk. The thing is, they're likely going to have to take one at some point, I think, because it's very rare that good players like Luka Doncic get moved that are young. And having all that cap space in 2026 and 2027 is great. The problem is the best players or the most talented players aren't going to be available that way. You're going to have to trade for them.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Is he that guy? I don't know. We just have not seen enough. Steve Kerr refused to play him. The opinions are all over the place, but the potential is definitely
less minutes per game than he did in their title run. Like that. I mean,
oh yeah.
I just feel like that speaks to like where he is in the rotation and how they feel about his development.
I just don't know. Warriors fans have gone after Kerr a lot for this. Yes. He doesn't play the first round at all against Houston or not till the very end. And then he starts playing a bunch. And it wasn't just because Steph Curry was out against Minnesota. And a lot of people are going, well, why wasn't he playing before? What is the problem here? Like, does he have real attitude issues and refuses to buy into the system and just isn't a Kerr guy? I don't know.
I think it might be the not a Kerr guy thing. That's a lot of what I've just passively have seen.
Hot take. He reminds him too much of Michael Jordan. Makes him mad.
God damn it.
He's too great.
Gonna punch me.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just worried, man. Yeah, it's just weird. Weird is the perfect way to talk about his tenure as a Warrior, because it's also, what does it look like next year? Because this is the last ride for Steph. You know what I mean? Like for Steph, Draymond, maybe I'll eat my words, but it doesn't feel like the next year they're going to come back and try and necessarily run back the exact same thing. So maybe next year, if he stays with the Warriors, he looks a little better or something like that. But it's odd. The contract offer is going to be really interesting from both, like just where both sides are at.
Yeah. Do you offer like a low ball offer of $100 million and see if they'll do that in a sign and trade? And
Yeah.
then what would you give up for him, I guess, from the Clippers? What would they be after? What would they be looking for? Norman Powell? They need shooting. They could use somebody like that.
Could they use, I mean, not to repeat what Will said, could they use Derek Jones Jr.?
Anybody, I mean,
Young athleticism?
everybody wants wings. So, yeah, that's probably somebody they would inquire about. Maybe they'd ask about Dunn.
The only real untouchables, I think, on the Clippers are Kawhi, Harden, Zoo. That's about it.
Because teams won't trade for some of those guys as
Yes.
untouchables. Yeah.
Partially, yes. And Zoo's not going anywhere. If they traded Zoo, I personally would riot.
I would imagine they'd be getting quite a haul if they gave in to trading Zoo.
Yeah. And again, how much does it, the fact that it's the Warriors that you're trading with, factor into some of this, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they have Jimmy Butler signed the next 2 years for like $60 million a year. They're going to have to do the same thing with their big three. It's going to be Draymond, Jimmy, and Steph. And just how do you get better around those guys? It's not that dissimilar to what the Clippers are dealing with in some ways.
That's a good call. Like that aging top end stars. Will, who would you give up for Kuminga? Is anyone on the table other than those three guys? Now I think they got to sell high on Norm if the right offer's out there. If Norm was involved in a Kuminga trade, I would, I think, be pretty okay with it. 22 is crazy. I don't know if she was that young also.
Yeah. I think fit wise it just makes a lot of sense. I think yeah, outside of the three, I would put anybody on the table.
So the max he could get is 5
Can't touch
years.
Batum either. Can't have him.
The max he could get is 5 years, 224.
I can't.
That's
see
not
him
happening at this point.
Yeah, I mean, for him, that would be pretty funny if he was. That would be so confusing if you were Jonathan Kuminga and you got the 5. Then you're like, what? Okay,
45 a year. 45 a year is insane.
Yeah. You guys don't seem to like me very much, but you're going to pay me all this money. That's fine. We've all been in those situations before.
I wonder if they've held him back at all so they could try to bring him back on a lower deal. I'm sure him and his agent have felt like that at times.
Teams do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be crazy.
Although if he is like a dissenter, I don't know how much he'll love being on the Clippers.
A dissenter.
Although if he likes shining when stars are out, he will have a lot of opportunities.
Right? It'll be interesting. Let us know at Clippers Pod on Twitter or at Clippers Podcast on YouTube. Which of these options, how you feel about any of them? The Giannis thing's not happening. Kuminga, maybe. I might be sold on Kuminga now for the right price. You think
mark me down for the right price?
He's $100 million contract guy, though.
He is going to get at least 100. I would suspect. Unless
that's fine.
He took less. Even that would be less than the 224, but he takes less on like a 2-year or 3-year deal. So then he's a free agent again at 25 and can get a bigger deal.
Yeah, 2 more deals after that too, Theo, right? Like at least 2 more big deals. Huh.
Sign me up for 3-year extension with him, even if the years are high, even if it's like 35 million, but it's only 3 years and it's still kind of a type of prove it contract. I'm interested in that.
I could see the prove it contract being given. He hasn't proven, like, no disrespect to him. What has he?
Wait, so what do you think the prove it contract would look like?
Like 3 years, 110 or something, maybe.
Oh, lock me in. Whatever. Like, if that's it and he wants to come to the Clippers, I would be like, sure,
And maybe
whatever.
30 years of player option. Therefore, he's still lining up with the 2 years with Kawhi and
I
James.
feel like that's actually like really reasonable for like what you know. I think that should be closer to what his expectations are than 45.
And if he was locked up for a 3-year deal, he would still be under contract when our books open up. Because he'd be locked in after 26, 27, or 26, 27, which is when they open up. So, like, that would be, I'm not mad at that. Per the rules, all of this works. They should do it exactly how we've described it. I wonder if he has preferred destinations. He's one of
think.
But again, if you're the Warriors, like,
who cares?
Are you doing business with the Clippers?
They would for Paul George, apparently. I don't know why. Get the best deal.
They dodged.
I know, but like it sounds like the Paul George deal was for slop. I don't remember the exact trade, but I remember it. It was like basically we're getting salary match and like a pick. Like, come on.
Yeah, they were trying to dump Wiggins, his contract. They eventually did that anyways. Moody, maybe Gary Payton the second. Maybe get Gary Payton this. But he's gonna be. I think he's a free agent.
We don't need any more of those.
I'm interested in Kuminga. It is one of the biggest unknowns in the NBA. I just am of the belief that the Clippers are going to have to strike gold on somebody like this in a trade at some point during this rebuild, this next era process.
Yeah.
They've done it before.
He brings everything the Clippers need. Tangible, again, basketball fit wise. I just say we know for sure he brings what the Clippers need, maybe except for basketball fit wise, because we don't have a bunch of, you know, I mean, it's not like you watch him like he would thrive in Ty Lue's system or something like that because it's just been so spotty.
The thing is, the Warriors, the fit for him might be bad because he is more of an ISO player. And that's how he projects out to be. And they do a lot of, you know, cutting off curls and screens. And that's not the Clippers. They don't make as many passes as the Golden State Warriors do.
All right. Well, I've completely flip-flopped since we started this conversation.
That's the goal.
About. That's the beauty of the pod.
We worked our way through it.
Guys,
I'm back in on Giannis. I would like Giannis as a Clipper, actually.
When do they have to sign Kuminga by? Like for this trade.
So I think for Harden's opt-in or opt-out it's June 29th, I think. I don't know if that lines up with some of the other decisions that have to be made.
But it's around there. It's usually, isn't it, by like the first week of July with most of those? Something like that.
Sounds right.
We'll all be at the 4th of July Clips and Dip barbecue, and we'll get the alert that we've traded for Jonathan. As we've prophesized that we've traded for Jonathan, we've traded Norm and Derek Jones Jr. for Jonathan Kuminga. And then we'd go live from the grill.
Kuminga.
I'm saying bring him to me. All right, let us know what you would give up for Jonathan Kuminga and nobody else that we've talked about because it's impossible. Over at Clippers Pod or at Clippers Podcast on YouTube. Coming up, we're going to look at some realistic free agent targets for the Clippers. And let me tell you what, it is not a sexy list.
Oh, we just did this.
No, these are real ones. These are tangible ones. These are ones that we can just sign.
These are signables.
These are the signables if you are into that kind of thing. And then we're talking dips because in the offseason, we got so many letters that we needed to talk about dips. So I'm excited to get into that. I have no idea what y'all brought, so it should be a good time. Audio listeners, going to be a quick ad break, and then we are talking the signables coming up in 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back into Clips and Dip. We talked about some big swings. You know, this is the off season. This is what everybody wants to talk about. So I'm sure we'll have more of this content for you. We might do some deep dives on some other potential trades. But let's look at the free agent list. These are guys that we could just outright sign. Not going to be. I'm going to tell you right now, there's not going to be a lot of showstoppers on this list. But Charles, why don't you run us down? Why don't you start with the best possible signing? Let's go from there, and then let's get our expectations high. Let's go ahead and ride on down.
I don't know if high expectations
Great expectations.
are two words that should be used with this free agent list. I put it in the rundown.
What do you got?
So we also, the Clippers want what, right? Like a 4, an Aaron Gordon type 4 who's big or something. It doesn't have to be a starter. Done. Boom. Second option, backup 5. Like that's. Do we all agree that maybe that's the consensus? The FO, maybe Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
Again. I don't know.
We need more.
Brogdon's probably happening.
Brogdon's probably happening. They already did it once.
They can do it again.
Do we want, like, is Gershon Yabusele the best option of this list of guys? I encourage everyone listening, if you haven't looked at the list of free agents, to go look at it, because it is not. I don't mean to disrespect any of these incredible players who play in the NBA. It's not the coolest looking list for a team that wants to stay under the apron.
I'm a fan of Yabusele. He's also not as young as you might think. He's about to turn 30, I think.
Yeah.
Damn.
He had a really good year in his second stint in the NBA, but he was there before, drafted by Boston, and then was out for a few years, came back. Last year was with Philly, shot 38% from the outside.
Had a great run with France.
Dunked on LeBron, big, strong, and can shoot. He is the prototype. He was on a minimum, though. It was a prove-it deal for him this last year. If he can just stay in the NBA this time, he had the right opportunity and made the most of it. How much is he going to ask for? $100 million?
No.
$100 million?
I mean, he might ask for it. I could ask for $100 million.
I don't know. 80?
Oh, man. That would be – I would feel terrible about that. I like Yabusele, but I don't know if I like him that much.
Is he a starting caliber 4?
Well, 3 years, 65.
Okay.
We love 65 here.
Favorite film, favorite contract deal?
For the real Clips and Dip heads, if you remember that one, let us know. Yeah, Yabusele's on there. Thomas Bryant. Bad.
Sure.
These are the guys. This is who. Larry Nance Jr.
Has he recovered from the hand injury? Did he have a broken hand for like all of last year? I like Larry Nance. He's getting up there.
He's absolutely getting up there. Great locker room guy, it seems like. Yeah, he broke his hand in December 2024.
Teammates do seem to love him.
He's not a starting caliber power forward, though, to me.
No.
Like,
I agree with you.
You have to be able to shoot from 3 if you're going to start next to Ivica Zubac. He's not that guy.
He's not that guy.
Pal.
Anybody else on this list that you guys can see?
Alex Len's on this list.
What? Oh, buddy, for backup 5, I'm a Len head. Count me in. Have him compete with whatever rookie giant guy we bring in.
I'm telling you right now. You know what? Just in case, I hope we get him. Never mind. I'm not going to. He's a star. He's a stud.
He's a star. Steven Adams?
I'd love that.
His contract
Adams all day.
Yeah,
I'd
love
that. Contract look like? He made 12.5. He's unrestricted. Like, the Clippers aren't going to give him the full because they have 14 with the incredibly long titled exception they have, the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. I don't think you don't give him all 14, I don't think, because again, he's a year older. But maybe
you may have to, though.
I mean, how would you be mad at 14 for Steven Adams?
He's limited. People got to realize he had major injury issues. I think this is somebody that got the, cadaver body part, kind of an unorthodox surgery.
Hell yeah! What?
He missed all of last year.
You ever seen Poor Things? It's kind of like
that. He missed half the year before that. There are real injury concerns. I don't think he can play heavy minutes ever again. Can he play 15 to 20 a night? He didn't last year. Just to point that out. Like, if he
Does
can,
he need to be that high though?
yeah, not if Ivica Zubats is there and
I think he could be
healthy.
sub 15.
Are you paying 14 a year
That's
for
the
that?
Yeah, I mean, so I could get the jersey, sure.
If he's healthy, it's perfect for what you need. And finally, they have their backup big that's reliable.
good locker room guy too. Again,
Yeah,
some important things.
badass, just awesome guy.
The health thing is because that's the other thing is like backup center is such a weird thing in the current NBA landscape.
Well, we were talking about this, and like, whose is really good?
Yeah, who
Yeah.
has
What backup center really blows you away right now? Where you're like, no, that would be that would be the difference maker for the Clippers.
that's a great core of centers they have there. Like it's not really
Yeah.
a thing.
It's not a thing. It's not as valued of a position anymore. That's been my argument. Like, Clippers fans, you keep talking about having a bad backup center. Who are all these teams with these stud backup centers? Does Denver have some great backup center for Jokic? No. It's DeAndre Jordan and Dario Saric, who never plays.
Man, the Dario. Remember when Boogie Cousins just crushed Dario Saric in those minutes in the Spurs series? That was what a fever dream that was. Yeah, so I don't know. It's not a good list. I don't think
Adam, anyone else not on this list on your radar? Sign wise?
Bol.
Uh
Some say better than Chet Holmgren.
oh, I don't see Capella on here. I like Clint Capella.
Oh, is he? Damn, that's a good call.
Clint Capella's a free agent, I'm pretty sure.
What?
And him back with Harden. I mean, he's not what he used to be athletically, but he's good.
He made 23 last year, 23 million. Do you think he'd go down by 9 million?
To play with Harden again? I don't know, maybe. Like, it depends on, I don't know how he views himself. He's got one more big contract in him, or does he want to try to chase a ring? What is his goal?
What about this is a guy, he's flown under the radar. I don't know if Clippers fans have ever, thought about adding this guy, John Collins.
I've heard of him.
He is going to be a free agent. He made 25 last year. I think he's 27. He's going to probably want more than what.
Why didn't you start with this?
Because we can't. I don't think we can sign him. And I don't think. I know he's because of how they're not going over the first apron to sign John Collins. Of all the times,
you don't think they dump some guys and make a little space?
I don't know. Who do you?
They'd have to dump Harden, I think. And that means Harden would have to make that decision as well, since he's the one with the opt-in.
Yeah. I also don't know how good John Collins is. It's not like we bring him in and suddenly, whoa, the Clippers are scary. You know what I mean?
I agree. I have a hard time judging where he's at. He's still young. What, he's 26 or 27? 28?
27 and a half.
I feel like he's not athletically the same guy that he was that could put his head on the rim and dunk on Embiid back when he was with Atlanta. And that's a little bit concerning to me because he's still so young. But then again, you're in a real bad situation in Utah.
Real bad.
It's hard to judge guys that are in those spots sometimes.
Shot 40% from three.
Yeah, he's improved his three-point shooting, and if that holds up, then he makes sense as a guy you could play next to Ivica Zubats and also some backup five. I don't hate it. I just, going back to your point, Chuck, can they really afford him? How does it happen?
He also played 40 games last year, which part of me wonders.
They were doing some stuff.
Right.
He got
What's
fined.
yeah, like how many games did he really miss? Like, was he unable to play?
What about old Brook Lopez? What about kicking the tires on that?
As a backup for 15 a night, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to play power forward next
No.
to Ivica Zubac, like I think
No.
somebody said in the comments.
Yeah. Law Murray has had some great interactions with some unhinged people on Twitter recently.
He's at 24, but like there's no way he's getting anything near that.
Yeah.
Sure.
He might get less than 10.
Hey, less than 10? Probably the best guy we're signing for less than $10 million.
That's still like Steven Adams.
Yeah.
He played in LA for a year, didn't he? Not
Lopez?
Steven Adams. Lopez.
Yeah, Lopez did, yeah.
I wonder, he loves Disneyland.
He might still have a house out here.
There may be some selling points with him
like
there.
His family or something.
Yeah, he went to Stanford,
He's had to be in Milwaukee the last 7 years. I could see it.
Him and Batum would be fun vibe-wise.
Great vibes guy.
I think they would be a good, yeah. Interesting. Well, let us know what you think jumps out of the page for you, listeners or viewers. Sorry for whatever comments we're going to get saying that we're wrong about John Collins and that he is the missing piece and that it would be, in fact, our year should he sign with the LA Clippers. But this is a list.
How do we get him, guys? How do we get him?
Tell us how we get him.
I'm fine with them. Just how do we get him?
Yeah. What are we giving a team that is craving assets? Because it's the Jazz, it's Danny Ainge we're talking about here. Like,
I feel like they might want young assets. I don't know how many of those are coming over from the Clippers.
Yeah, it'd be Jordan Miller and Kobe Bryant. Those are the two only young assets.
They're about to be 26 next year.
Yeah. Oh, the young is in quotes. In
the biggest quotes. Yeah.
And they haven't really shown very much through reasons that are not out of their control and some within their control. Yeah. How do we get them? I don't know. All right. Any other
player option, right? It's a player option. We're all expecting him to opt out because he's due.
Let me look. Man, he signed a big contract. Player option.
So yeah, it's like he can become an unrestricted free agent. What he's going to do Utah a favor? Be like, you guys can sign and trade me. How do you get him as a free agent? That he might make $30 million a year with this contract. How do you slot that in and not go over the tax and not over the first apron? Good luck.
Cut Harden.
Harden's his choice in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Any final thoughts on this list before we get into what everyone came to this podcast for, which is Dip Talk? I didn't look at point guards because I don't know what they're going to do with that.
Brogdon.
Probably Brogdon.
Yeah, I'm good. There's just not a lot of star power out there that Clippers can actually afford.
Not yet, anyway. Talk to us in 365 days. We'll be going crazy with possibilities.
We'll be talking playoffs then, but you know.
Yeah, we'll probably still. Yeah, it'll be almost a finals preview, I guess. All right. Who wants to go first for the Dip Talk? We need some kind of jingle for the Dip Talk we can play, but that would require more editing. Who wants to go first?
He's dipped in a fool.
Adam, do you want to go first? Because I believe your dip is already gone, no?
Yeah, I couldn't wait.
Status check on the dips?
I just went and got some chunky guacamole from Io Kuro brand, and it's really chunky, pretty good. I got some real vegetable chips from Terra to dip in them, and it was quality. It was somewhat healthy and really tasty.
You would bring it to a bar. Also for listeners, the meter is, would you bring this to a barbecue you were invited for, a friendly barbecue? Would you bring this to the Clips and Dip barbecue?
I would. Sadly, it'd probably get eaten on the way, but
Yeah, if history tells us anything.
it'd be on the ride. It'd be in the car somewhere.
All right. I'm gonna go next. I kept it simple. Trader Joe's pimento cheese dip. Nothing too crazy. Pretty delicious. Shredded sharp cheddar cheese and pickled pimento peppers. I'm enjoying them with salt and pepper ridged chips. Fantastic. Would absolutely bring this to a barbecue. Not necessarily spice, but it's a good dip. It's a nice it's good for people who, yeah, I don't know. I would bring this dip to the barbecue for sure. And people would go, that's pretty good. I'd try to do it. I like their dips. That's the
Those
exact.
chips are really good too.
Oh yeah. Can never go wrong with salt and pepper ridged chips. Will, your dip, and would you bring it to a barbecue?
All right, so for dip wise, I got this smoked salmon tzatziki dip.
Damn.
This came from Whole Foods, and I gotta be real with you. I always thought for a long time that like people in Alaska who are like really like they make a big deal out of not liking Atlantic salmon. I kind of thought it was like a bit much, but they're right. And this is Atlantic salmon, and it's definitely inferior to some like to like some wild Alaskan salmon. It's pretty good. The smoke is good. I don't know. There's just not enough really going on here. Although I will be honest, I drove straight here. This kind of sat in my car on the way over here. It's been sitting out.
The salmon's starting to sweat.
It's been sitting out hot all podcast. It's pretty hot in my house. I would definitely add like some chives and scallions and stuff to this. I think it could be improved. Sun-dried tomatoes, perhaps.
Wow. That sounds great.
And I got for chip wise, I got these Parm crisps. They're everything bagel flavored. Let me actually taste one of these on their own.
This is good.
Pretty good. Like it's good. It's good. I like it. I don't think it's like that great of a compliment to the salmon. Like I think the cheese flavor is a little overpowering.
It feels a little chaotic, if I'm being perfectly honest.
There's a lot going on there. Would I bring this to a barbecue? I mean, I feel like I'd have to doctor the shit out of this. But
you're using it as a base.
Yeah.
So not
and
exactly
the crisps, like
a ringing endorsement is
I would bring.
Yeah,
the
you can
crisps.
bring it,
the crisps, I would not.
Thank you, because they do not seem very.
Unless I was like at a keto barbecue, because otherwise I'm not. I gotta be honest with you. I'm not shelling out $9 for this size of a bag of chips for people at a barbecue who like don't give a shit about the carb situation. Like what would be the point? You can have the salt and pepper rich chips. Just have those. They're good.
To act superior, you say these cost me $9.
Well, I don't really get down like that. I'm not trying to flex or anything. It's the opposite of a flex. It's the keto tax.
Okay, so we went 2 for 3 on dips.
Not bad.
Good. Pretty good. Damn. I mean, you'd be the best.
And you get me chewing on Mike.
Yeah. Okay. Also,
it's better than our usual player of the game stuff.
Yeah. I think we got every single one right last year.
Oh, that's my bad.
What's wrong with the player of the game stuff?
No, I mean like going 2 out of 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're batting 66. Yeah. All right. Let us know what you think of the dip options. Send us dip recipes. We'll make them.
Yeah, I think for the next time we all get together, I might whip something up.
Yeah, I'm gonna make I made one last year that was really good. I want to bring it back for maybe some of the new people who are like, what dips do they even make? Got a lot of letters about that.
Did someone do the classic freaking Velveeta Rotel last year?
No,
I don't think
someone should.
I did that weird spicy.
That's a go. You can make that in the microwave, baby.
I did that weird spicy Frito bean dip last year.
Did it end up being good?
It was actually pretty good.
You really liked the Cool Ranch one though, didn't you?
Did you guys both get that at different times?
Yeah, we did.
I got it later as a bit. I was like, you guys aren't going to believe the one I got because Chuck made such a stink out of how bad it was.
I kind of had a bad dip season last year because I also had that really shitty salsa I grabbed that was like apple salsa. That was terrible. All right. Let us know what dips you would like us to review. Send us your family dip recipes. We'll make them. Get at us at Clippers Pod or at Clippers Podcast on YouTube. We're going to be back next week with draft talk because, hey, anyone we bring up could maybe be drafted as low as the Clippers are. Should be a good time. Probably going to do a mailbag. Send your questions in. We'll do a mailbag. If you have any questions about free agents, just re-listen to this episode. We probably answered all of them. Will, where can people, now that we're really getting to the nitty-gritty, now that we're, it's more of a tactile pod with the dips and everything, where can people share their dip recipes if they want?
Yeah, look, I'm now is definitely the time to be following this show. The off season, that's what you tune in for, really. I mean, the rest of the stuff, it's noise, it's space. But you can check this show out wherever you listen to your podcast. If you happen to listen over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you leave a little rating and review, it definitely helps us out. The best way to watch this show, you can see these dips in color, in the flesh or whatever, in the goo.
In the flesh.
Over at youtube.com. That's actually
look at that warm salmon, guys. Check it out.
You can actually smell it on the YouTube.
See the
but however you listen, however you watch, we appreciate you.
We absolutely do.
More than ever. Come on.
Yeah, you're a real one if you're watching the offseason. And let us know if you remember anything about the movie 65. Adam, it is the offseason, but we still need it, man. We still need the Adam Oslin one positive thing. Could be about anything at this point in the offseason.
At worst, the Clippers got beat by a team that has taken a 68-win team to 6 games, or is taking them to 7, or is winning in 7. Those are all three things are options. And I don't know, in my opinion, that kind of changes the outlook on this Clippers team. Maybe it wasn't as disappointing. Denver's really good.
Yeah, still incredibly disappointing, but maybe not as so. I think that's fair.
Not as far away as I felt after they lost,
I don't know.
They're not as far away.
Pretty far away.
That was an aberration. That was different.
It's different. All right. That wraps it up. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Let us know what dips you get into. And we'll be back next week. And as always, let's go Clips.